starting in 2024, in a month from today, up to $185 billion could come from Japan to the US stock market thanks to the new NISA. That's a lot of money. Where is all that money coming from? What is the new NISA and how can you and I, as investors, benefit from it? All of these are great questions that we're going to look at through today's video, so you definitely don't want to miss it. So first thing first, where is all that money coming from? The Japanese households have up to 2 quadrillion yen in assets. What is a quadrillion? That's 1,000 billion. That's a lot of money. That's $13.9 billion in assets. So of course, all that money, where is it? At the time being, more than half of that money is in cash and deposit. Not at all on the stock market, because on the stock market there's only 17% of that amount going into equity, into bonds and investments. That's really not a lot, especially if you compare to the US and the Eurozone. Look at this chart. The US over 50%, obviously 54% on the stock market. Eurozone 33%. That's a very big difference. And actually, the Japanese government has been trying for the past 10 years to really change the culture from just putting the money on the side and retiring and waiting for the government basically to provide to a culture that's more proactive, a culture of equity, a culture of investment. And the reason is obvious. With negative interest rate, very low yield on all those deposits, with a weakening yen, with increased inflation, all of this makes for very, very bad returns, to say the least. So that's why the Japanese government has been trying to change the mindset so that more people will invest the money more actively, and trying to go from where Japan is now at 17% on the market to where the Eurozone is at 33%. That would literally double the amount coming to the market, and we're talking about $4.5 trillion coming. That's enough to move a lot of the indexes and have better return for all investors, isn't it? If that's the kind of information you like, please do not hesitate to like and subscribe for more information like this to come. That would help us a lot. Thank you very much. To help with this mindset shift, the Japanese government created in 2014 the local equivalent of the very successful British investment savings accounts, and it's called the NISA, the Nippon Investment Savings Accounts. It is open to Japanese and non-Japanese residents as well. As long as you are 20 years old and you have a bit of revenue, you could open one up. And it's been quite successful because it offers the possibility of investing pre-tax money, and all the dividends and all the capital gain tax are tax-free rather than the regular 20% tax rate. So that's a really good deal, but it remains quite limited by the amount of money you could invest in that, as well as other exceptions. However, it kept on evolving, and in 2018 there was an additional account that you could use, so you could invest for your family as well, not only yourself, and the tax exemption period got longer, with more choices in terms of investment, and every possible financial institution under the sun in Japan offered the possibility to open an account. So it became really, really widespread, and it works so well that since its inception in 2014, there's been $230 billion invested in those accounts, and $19 billion this year alone. So as you can see, this is quite exciting. There's a lot, and this coming January, things are changing even more, so that's gonna free a lot more money. Let me tell you a bit about the details. You can see you're still gonna have 2 different types of NISA, but they're gonna be called the growth quota and the tsumitate quota. And the annual investment limit is doubled for the growth quota and tripled for the tsumitate quota. You can combine both of them. You don't have to choose anymore. The period of tax benefit is now limited. It's not 5 years or 20 years, and the lifetime limit goes quite high at 18 million Japanese yen. And according to JP Morgan, this could bring up to 45 trillion Japanese yen in the next 5 years. That's $308 billion. Quite a large amount, isn't it? And if you want to know more about this new NISA, I'm leaving some links below for digging deeper if you wanted to. Now, that's all very exciting, but what is in there for you if you're watching from outside Japan? At the very beginning, I mentioned $185 billion coming to the US markets. And the reason for that is that 60% of the people opening a NISA account, having NISA accounts, are actually putting their money abroad and mainly in the US rather than doing it in Japan. And there are many reasons for that. There are many younger investors that are opening NISA accounts. When I say younger investors, is people under 40 and they are not wary of investing abroad and they have very good image of the US. They know about the US market and they prefer to move their money over there because obviously the US market is offering better return than the Japanese market in US dollar terms. Also, for them, it's a way to hedge the foreign exchange of the Japanese yen being so low. And when so much money is moving around and when most of the investments are done in index funds and ETFs, this goes towards index investing. So that means that your favorite index funds on the US market, whether they're on the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, are going to see that money coming directly to them. So if you wanted as investors to benefit from that money coming from Japan, there are a few ways to do it. Before we go forward, remember, I am not a financial advisor and everything I'm talking about is just for entertainment and information purpose only, and it's just my own opinion. So before investing on anything, please do your own research and talk to a financial professional. That being said, if I was in the US, I would be looking at broad-based index funds and ETFs because all that money, like I was mentioning, is going to be invested in ETFs and index and they're going to go to the US. So everything that S&P 500, everything that's NASDAQ is going to be the most interesting or the most likely, I would say, to benefit from that influx of money. So you have the usual one that I'm listing here. That could be the one that are worth having a look at and investing. And now we've heard that the Fed doesn't think about increasing interest rate anymore, rather decreasing them through 2024. The markets have been so happy about it, as you've noticed in the past few weeks. So that will bring more people to invest on the stock market because there should be a bull run and more Japanese households will bring more money to the US. Obviously, if you want to know more, there was that very good video by Andre Jack recently, so I'm putting it there. You will see how he makes very good explanation out of it. So now we've talked about the US market. What's happening with the Japanese market if you are in Japan or if you are diversifying to the Japanese market as one of your options? Now, if we look just at the local currency in Japanese yen, the Japanese stock market has had a very good run this year, and that's due to a lot of different reasons. The economy, obviously, finally the inflation coming back, which was a big thing, was after we've lived so long with deflation, but that's not the only thing. There's been a lot of market reforms as well that have been helping a lot, like split off shares that used to be very expensive. Now they are being split, so it's easier for retail investors to consider buying them, as well as the trading lots being reduced. And I have to see that the financial agencies in Japan are really pushing the main companies to do that so they are more open and more affordable for retail investors, having in mind that they want to push NISA as much as possible. A lot of foreign investors have been coming to Japan because there's a lot of potential in the Japanese market, also wanting to do diversification and using US dollars to invest in Japanese yen, again playing the FX on the other way around. It's more beneficial there. Also, there's a lot of good things possibly happening in 2024 in terms of potential market continuing to go up, economic potential. The earnings of the company seems to be getting better and better as well. So all in all, this opened the possibility to diversifying in the market, this opens also a possibility for a lot of the retail investors to invest and have more investment opportunities and growing investment opportunities, mainly in ETFs, mainly in broad-based indexes. And there's also the end of cross-shareholding agreements. This is very traditional Japanese, whereby big companies would have cross-shareholdings to try to keep their shareholder base together and being completely immune to possible outside investors or any kind of things that would change their ways. This is being completely changed, whereby the money is invested in more profitable, in more productive ways and provide better return for shareholders. So this should also allow for companies to grow better, at least the good companies, and open more investment opportunities for retail investors. So if you are thinking about diversifying, entering, going throughout, investing in Japan, here is a list of ETFs that are hedged to the US dollar, so you don't have much FX issues or risk and still invest on the Japanese stock market. And if you are in Japan, please have a look at your NISA account and what your financial institution is providing. Usually every NISA selected financial products, whether they are stocks, they are index funds or ETFs, usually do very well, as you can see here on screen, because people are gonna put their money there and they're being pushed. Please have a look. As long as it's your financial institution, this should be fine. But remember to check two things: that the financial institution that provides them is a well-known and established one, that the cost is kept really low. Let's talk about something under 0.5%. Something that's 0.0 something is even better, because on the long run you may reduce your return. All of this, coupled to the changes in the crypto market, should give us so many opportunities to invest in 2024. It is so exciting. If you are interested in knowing more about investing in Japan or related to investment in Japan, I've prepared those videos that you see on screen for you to watch. If you like this video or learned something, please do not hesitate to click and subscribe. That would help us a lot. And if you have anything to share, please leave something in the comment box below. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, goodbye.